Tony Hawkins has got a podcast. I hope he's better at this than he is washing the kit because he was fucking useless.
Oh, good, sorry, because I was
just about to fall asleep.
A yawn came
just about
just
to fall
as you
asleep.
said we're starting.
With the sound of things, good job I called you, Tony. You would have been asleep. Yeah, I bet people are a bit surprised, Tony, because they didn't think we'd be back on this, didn't we? After Friday night.
I mean, we had a heart to heart, didn't we? We mused the thought of giving it up.
Well, you can say we muse, Tony, but we're not very amusing, are we? Oh, that was a laugh, wasn't it? I really enjoyed doing that, I must admit. I thought it was a great laugh. It really was.
I actually did. I didn't realise the purpose of it at the time, but clearly. But no, it was nice to be asked on.
It was nice to be asked. It's nice to be nice, Tony, wasn't it?
It is indeed, but didn't realise there was an ulterior motive.
Well,
there you go.
We won't be back on it again, won't we? Patiently, we'll never be asked back, Tony. But it was fun while it lasted.
We should have more guests. We should have people on that
we can take the piss out of.
Well, actually, we've always done that, so
I can't think who we are.
Any different to any
Colin
other.
Was the last guy we had on, wasn't it, as a guest? He's the last. I can't remember.
Was it Mick? Was it Brando?
Yeah, that was when we were doing it face to face, not like we're doing it at the minute.
Can't remember then.
I can't remember.
We had the fella.
We've had a few guests when we actually did it, like when we were sat in the shed down at the bottom of the garden. A few guests then, but.
Yeah, we used to have regular visitors, didn't we?
There's some random people that I'd never met in my life before.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, come on.
If you're a Dons fan, you're welcome. Come and join us.
Well, you're not all welcome, Tony, are you? Let's be honest.
Try not to be funny deliberately if you can, though.
A lot of people think that's the route to go down, Tony.
Not by accident.
Well, some people think that's that's the best route to not be funny. But hey, they're wrong.
Well, yeah, what can you say?
Right, what do you think then? Oxford United, Tony, was it fun?
I don't know, mate. We haven't played them yet, but
not Oxford. You know they're on. Cambridge United.
Cambridge. Yes, indeed.
I almost get my blue chip universities mixed up, Tony. You know that.
Yeah, Ivy Leagues. It was an interesting game. I have to say I've played on bigger five-a-side pitches. I'd read that they shortened it and made it narrower, but I couldn't believe how small that pitch was. It was ridiculous.
Was it really?
To the point where Louis actually said, the pitch did cause a few issues with being able to play the way that we like to play. Plus, I've seen a few people mention it, but I noticed, it's the sort of thing I notice, is how dirty the ball was.
Yeah, what was all that about? I read that. What was it? Just
so basically, if a pitch is bumpy and has very little grass on it, an easy way to tell how good a pitch is to see how dirty the ball is after the game.
Ah, right. Oh.
You didn't have to wait for that because you could see, even from where we were sat, how dirty the ball got very, very quickly, which immediately tells me that there was no grass on that pitch. And it was like a cobbled street, honestly.
Was it really?
It was bobbling all over the place. It was very narrow, as I said. The distance between the touchline and the edge of the 18-yard box, you could probably take it in 3 long strides. It was that small.
I thought there was some sort of regulation where you had to have a...
Well, there are minimums and maximums. I can't remember what they are. I think it's like 80 by... I don't know, but whatever it is, they have obviously chosen to go as close to the minimum as possible. But it defeats the object. Surely, how could that benefit them in any way other than to stop both teams playing?
I only watched
it seems all a little bit Gillingham to me, but
I only watched the headline. The headlines because, like I say, I was having my brand new 22 plate van delivered, Tony, which is fantastic. Lovely it is. So it came about lunchtime, and what station did I say it was going to be on? Heart FM, didn't I?
Yeah.
It was actually on Radio 1, which is infinitely
Oh, that's...
That was poor, Tony. It got changed to 6 Music straight away, I got to be honest. But yeah, so there was a bit of palavering about. There was absolutely no petrol in it. We also needed to get some horse feed, so I said, we'll fill it up, we'll go and get some horse feed and we'll listen to the game while we're driving about. And I was genuinely surprised that basically that we didn't go and beat them 6 or 7-0, to be quite honest. And looking at
there wasn't, as I say, it wasn't a roomy pitch, so
no.
it was quite congested in all areas. They looked relatively threatening, I suppose, in the first half, and then they had that. I mean, another absolutely ridiculous save by Cumming, pushing it onto the bar. The ball then came out to one of their players, who then headed it in, and Coventry overhead kicked it off the line. I mean, unbelievable.
They were all cheering as soon as it came back in. If you watch the video of the game, as soon as they kick it, they're all cheering, thinking that it's gone in already.
Yeah.
But
our fans, including myself, went silent because we saw the net ripple.
Yeah.
But that was because it hit the bar so hard.
Oh, right. That it. Yeah.
And because as short as the pitch was, it still seemed like a long way away. But the net rippled, and we thought, oh, well, that's it. The Cambridge fans were cheering, and then there was like a few seconds after that where everybody was like, "Hold on a minute, they haven't scored. What?" And I couldn't wait to watch the EFL thing on
to see
Quest
what it was.
to see. Yeah, but someone had tweeted it, and we watched it in the car on the way home, and it was just an unbelievable. I mean, I had to watch it several times. I still can't see, but he obviously did, how Cummings saved it, or how much of his hands he got on it. But it was obviously enough, and those are the sort of things that go your way when things are going for you, and you're never going to turn down stuff like that. So I think it was a fairly even first half. We didn't really get going. We had lots of possession. But again, I think because of I don't want to keep going back to the pitch, but I think because of the confines of it, it made it very difficult for us to break and use the wings. There was very little going down the middle. It was all very compacted and just not pretty to watch. And when we did score, it was, it was getting to the point of where's the goal going to come from?
What time was it? About 70th minute? Because I remember we'd come home and then gone back out.
It wasn't too late in the game. Right. But again, after we scored, we were pretty comfortable, really, after that. And
did Doug Twining not have one that went just a bit wide?
Yeah, he put one past the post, which, to be fair, looking at the replays, it looked like the keeper did a really good job of killing the angle for him to put it in the bottom corner. And other than that, not a huge amount happened. Wickham came on, not a lot happened. David Kasumi went off, but Kirkham came on, again, not a lot happened. We didn't huff and puff. That's totally wrong. But we didn't necessarily look uncomfortable in terms of defending our goal. As I say, it was getting to the point where you're thinking, do we get away from this and write it off and take the 0-0? But Warren O'Hara popped up again, and where was he? It was from a corner.
All right.
He was on the wrong side of the pitch again. So even though the corner didn't quite work out,
did it not come from a long throw? The goal.
Oh, sorry, it was a long throw, but it was effectively a corner because of the distance that was on it. And now Wazza was there. So I'm thinking now that because that was a long throw, maybe the setup is very similar to a corner. Because once again, and I really must look at this, but you don't know when we're going to score. That's the problem. So I'm trying to work out how he gets into that position to be able to score that goal. I mean, it was very well placed and it looked like it went for a crowd of players, but I think he just sort of not bent it round the group of players, but he put it in exactly the right place. That's
there was a lot of If people are saying they didn't know what's his name, Daniel Harvey had such a long throw, but if the pitch is as narrow as you're saying that he hasn't got a long, got a long throw, has he?
I probably could have had a piss and hit the penalty spot from the touchline. So It was very, very small. Interesting as well. In recent weeks, I've been saying about how fantastic the fans have been this season.
Yeah.
But you never, other fans, particularly with MK Dons, but there were a few Cambridge fans saying how, the relentless noise from the MK Dons fans, and it was fantastic.
I did see a few tweets from them saying that we were the best fans that had gone there this season, so you've been saying it, haven't you, for the last couple of weeks that, they've upped their game. Good luck to those young lads.
They've upped their game,
well done to them.
The longevity, I suppose you could say, all right, well, come back and speak to us again when we've lost 3 in a row, but even, going back to when we've not been doing great before this run we've been on, they were definitely, especially away from home, the noise was... And compliments to the drummer. I think Harry has been absolutely brilliant this season. Absolutely brilliant. So, yes, I was their biggest critic. Now I'm their biggest fan. Well played, lads and lasses, because that, particularly on Saturday, and I haven't been to an away game since Wickham, and they were, aside from the obvious, they were brilliant.
There was none of that, was there, hopefully?
Well, actually, no, there was.
Right.
It was actually the Russell Martin song. Someone was telling me, but it didn't seem to get much
traction now.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It didn't last very long, and there were a few dissenting voices which seemed to stamp it out.
That's what you wanted. We said it at the time, didn't we? The best way to stop this shit is to police it by yourself, isn't it? So if that's been done,
absolutely, I agree with that. And as long as it doesn't lead to any physical violence, which it sometimes does, as we know, they take it on board, lads. There is a line, there is a limit, and there are things that our fans will object to as well as everybody else. So, just take the hint, perhaps, and stick to what you're good at, which is the songs. I mean, some of the songs are absolutely brilliant. A lot of them, unless you know the words, they won't make a lot of sense. But the Warren O'Hara one, I love that. He's got a fucking square head or whatever it is. Absolutely hilarious. But no, they've been absolutely fantastic. And as I say, Cambridge fans did mention it, that we were relentless throughout.
It looked like quite a good turnout, looking at it.
1,448, I think it was.
There was a few videos from them, wasn't there, at our end, and I thought, well, that looks absolutely rammed, I wish I'd gone there.
It was. They had to open up another block, but I think that was pre-planned by them, because when I sat down, I could see they'd taped off a block, and by sort of 2:30, there were people walking up and down the stairs trying to find somewhere to sit. So they timed it absolutely perfect, because the block that they opened up also filled up, but relieved some of that pressure of people trying to find seats, which can sometimes cause aggravation. But what I did like was a group of, I think, three blokes walking up and down the steps with their tickets in
looking
their hand,
for their seat,
trying to find their seats. And I thought, shall I say something,
no,
or are they going to ask someone to move? Nah, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let them do it and get on with it. And then they decided that because they were too embarrassed about either A, not being able to find their seats, or realising that people would just sat anywhere, they started pointing in the, down the opposite end of the blocks there, saying, "Oh, is that three? Are those three over there? Do you think they're free? There's some seats. Do you think they're available?" And they kept looking at their tickets, and I just love that. I think that's brilliant. Away day trippers.
At least they went, unlike me. So
at least they went. Yes,
them
absolutely. But there is, if it was mum or dad and the kids or whatever, then I'd be saying, don't worry about your ticket numbers. It's not going to make any difference where you sit, because it was three blokes clearly looking like they were. I mean, one of them wasn't wearing socks.
Oh no!
And he had shoes on as well. So
he deserves to not eat. He shouldn't be
ankle
allowed
swingers,
to go.
no socks and shoes. Sorry, mate. It's not 2011 for a start.
See, if I'd seen him,
it was not a good look then. So
if I'd been on the door there, I would have said, "Sorry, mate, you're not coming in dressed like that, son."
Not dressed like a twat. No, sorry, no way.
No, sorry.
No, we're not having that.
Go home and put some socks on, mate, and come back. But nah, nothing like that, mate.
So I was sat on my own, as I do.
Who did you go down there with then?
I travelled with the lovely Lisa, and Caroline and Becky and Dano.
Yeah.
And blimey, I've forgotten her son's name. Anyway, very nice journey down in a very, very nice car as well. Good company, very good company, and found a good place to park opposite the stadium.
Yeah,
didn't take too long to get out. So all in all, a very good day with very good company.
And we got 3 points, which is good.
Yes, indeed. And Rotherham. Let's talk about the
Rotherham
result there. So
who's our next opponent, Tony? Oh dear.
3-0 at home to Shrewsbury, albeit they had a man sent off. But I think it was 1-0, wasn't it, before
I don't know.
Their man got sent off?
I really don't.
Anyway, I don't care what it was, but that now puts us 4 points behind Rotherham.
Been saying it on this podcast, the ones that are shitting themselves are them. Shitting themselves more now, aren't they? That's for sure.
And again, good to see the players not just coming to applaud the fans, but staying there for some considerable amount of time as well.
There is a good connection. There's a good connection between the fans.
There
and
is
the
a very good connection this season.
Yeah, and the younger fans, isn't there, in the actual team? You can see it, can't you? You know, I mean, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Harvey seems to take it in his stride, doesn't he? You know, he seems to.
Yeah,
be
for an angry little man.
Yeah. Little Scotsman, you know what we're like, Tony.
He does control himself. I know he's had 2 red cards, but he does control it quite well. And I mean, he's going to pick up bookings as he gets older by shouting at officials the way that he does. I think there's a certain element of him being a bit younger where he might be getting away with it at the moment, but referees and linos are going to remember that name and that face and that number.
Yeah, I guess.
In the future, so he just needs to be careful there. Dave got his obligatory yellow card.
Did I hear that?
Typical Dave fashion. There's a ball there somewhere. I'm just going to stick my foot in and see if I can get to it.
I mean, every single game,
it may be 20 yards away, but I'm still going to try.
It's a shame, really. Well, I don't know. People say if you take that out of his game, he won't be the player he is. No, what you've got is a player that get booked.
That's a load of bollocks. They used to say that about Delhi. But Delhi is an absolute pansy when it comes to fighting and facing up to other players. That had nothing, there was a thing when he went to Spurs and they were saying about, if you take that away from his game, and when he punched the pathetic Chelsea player in the penalty area against Chelsea, it was the day they absolutely blew their chances of winning the league that season, Spurs. And people were saying, you've taken that away from his game. But he's never had that in his game. He's never had to. He never needed to have it because, all right, it was in League One, admittedly, but he was so much better than everybody else. It used to wind them up. He never used to have to wind them up. He just needed to use his natural talent and ability to be so much better than everybody else that it becomes... And this is one of the great things. If you are a good player, you can... very early on in a game quite often, make someone look very silly, and that then becomes their focus on the game for the rest of the game, is to try and break your legs at every opportunity.
Yeah, take them out
at which point you've got them. Yeah. You know that you've won already before 10 minutes into the game. I used to love doing that. It might be a nutmeg or just like a little cheeky little pass or something that give them the opportunity to think that they can get the ball. And then just make them look silly. Do it as early as you possibly can in the game. There's no need to wind people up, if you've got the talent and the ability to do it. So, that was about Daniel Harvey, wasn't it, I suppose? But
how many points are Rotherham in front of us now? 4?
They're 4 points ahead of us.
Yeah.
They don't... I can't remember if they've got... If they've still got a game in hand.
I don't think they've got a game in hand. I think that's... their game in hand's done. Sure it is.
So we have a quick shufty then.
Sure, that's them.
The table as a reminder.
Now.
I do know obviously that Wigan won and won comfortably.
I reckon they'll go up as champions now. To be quite honest, I'd be surprised if they don't.
They are a point behind Rotherham and they've got 2 games in hand. We're 4 points behind Rotherham and we've played the same amount of games. Their goal difference, though, is 13 better than ours.
Who's that? Rotherham?
Rotherham.
Yeah,
But we've actually scored the same amount of goals. We've both scored 64 goals, but they've only let in 25, which is frankly ridiculous out of 39 games to only let 25 goals in. I mean, that's who's let the least in after that? Wigan have let in 34, so 9 fewer goals. It's just a silly amount to let in, but and 25 of those of that 25, 3 were on Saturday, losing to Shrewsbury. So
that was a big surprise. That to me, it really was when I heard
it was
that.
a massive. I mean, it just when I saw it was 1-0, I thought, well, they're probably gonna win that 3 or 4-1. And then as time dragged on, and they had a man sent off, and then they went 2-0 up, I still thought, no, they'll pull it back to 2-2. They'll manage to scrape a point with 2 goals in the last 5 minutes.
They're probably just burnt out, Tony. I think they've just been trying to sustain it for so long, but hopefully they've burnt themselves out.
They've won 1 game in the last 5. Jeez, draw, lose, draw, win, lose.
No, that ain't any good, that is it?
Well, when you think that they were the form team in England and second or third only to Manchester United, Man City, and someone else in Europe, and that was the week before. In the week before we played them at their place.
Yeah.
So it seems that
we've knackered them, haven't we? That's what we've done.
That pressure was playing us. Yeah. Had they come through us, who knows where they would be now. But since they played us, they've drawn 1 and lost. And we've since we played them, we've won, drawn 1. But Plymouth have won 5 in a row now.
I think they're playing tonight, aren't they? Because we're recording this on Tuesday this week.
They just kicked about 25 minutes in.
I can't find it now. Yes, they're 1-0 up against Cheltenham.
Yeah, I can't see them. I can't see them not at the very least getting a point there. They've already had 4 shots.
Yeah, they're fourth.
Cheltenham have had 7 shots and 4 on target, and it's only been playing. We've been playing 25 minutes, so it looks like a good game.
Is it on the telly? I haven't watched that. I'm doing a podcast on it. I can't watch it. I watched about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes of Forest Green Rovers last night. They were playing, oh God, I can't remember.
Colchester.
I thought to myself, fuck me, I'd rather be anywhere in the whole entire world than sat in that ground watching that. God almighty. It was the most League 2 thing you've ever seen in your whole entire life. It was appalling. It really was. There was hardly anyone there. The old Sky guy tries to inject some enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's like when they, I remember when all the channels do it, to be fair, but I remember when the BBC lost the Six Nations, the choice games, and I think it was the weekend was England versus Scotland, Ireland versus Wales on Sky, and the BBC had Italy versus France, and the BBC did this whole big trail about fireworks all over the place. France versus Italy. And he's just thinking, mate, no one is going to be watching that. Even if they haven't got Sky, they're not watching that.
No, it was pretty poor fare last night. I must admit, it really was. And the standard of football was fucking poor. And I think Forest Green they're flying in League 2, aren't they, at the minute, I think? But God's sake.
Yeah, they've had a little bit of a hiccup, but I think they're 9 points clear or something like that at the moment. So
good luck to them. I think
it'll take a fair amount for them to throw that away.
I ain't got a problem with them, to be quite honest. I've nothing the matter with them, is there,
Yeah, the only complaint I've got about them is the how long it takes to get food, vegan food as well, at the food concession. A good 25 minutes, all the way through half-time. And about 10 or 15 minutes into the second half.
I'll have to get that sorted out if they get promoted. Get a few burgers, mate.
Yeah.
Some chips.
They've got some seats in the away end as well, which, when I say a few seats, I mean a few.
What are they made out? I hate to think. Recycled cardboard.
I think they're made of hemp.
All right.
Yeah, I think they're made of hemp and paper mache.
Oh, good for
them. From sustainable tree sources.
Yeah, old magazines, Tony, that have been pulped. Like that is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably what they're made of.
Yeah, good. I hope they
as was much of the food if I remember rightly, having had a corn pie that...
Was that made out of cardboard as well, eh?
Well, I think, don't get me wrong, I like corn. I have to say, my daughter's a vegan. Well, she's more veggie now. But the corn stuff is nice. But when it's been sat under the lights for God knows how long, it tastes as bad as any football pie that's been sat there like that for that long.
We went vegan once, years ago, before my lad was born. Like, me and my wife, we did it for a whole year. Like, she did it longer than I did. And I remember once, this is a true story, this. We went to France on holiday. And we went to that place, what's it called? The Mont Saint-Michel. Do you know where I mean? It's like this big old, like, sort of abbey on a, like an island and stuff. Anyway, we went there. This is a true story, this. And we had someone, we went with another couple, and he was a fluent French speaker, this guy. So we had some, he ever tried to go fucking vegetarian in France? Good luck with that. And I'm talking,
it's hard enough in most places.
And I'm talking well over 30 years ago, so it was just nearly impossible, right? So we went to this place and we were having, whatever it is we had, and like said, like we'd want something, but, we don't want any meat in it, just like a load of salad. So it came, right, and like, it was like a baguette, and there was like a great big bit of ham in it, right? So this bloke's going, oh, blah, 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 in French, that. And you know what she done? The woman, I swear to God, she picked the top of the baguette up, right? Picked the ham up with her fingers, put the top back on it, and went, voila, and walked away. Honest to God, she really did.
I did have a vegan meal tonight because I went to my daughter's, and I had a burger, plant-based burger. I don't know what was in it, but it tasted decent. A brioche bun, but she made these lovely fried chip type things. She basically cut a potato up very, very, very thin length, but very long lengthways. Bit of olive oil, baking tray. They were absolutely delightful. But that vegan vegetarian thing, just pulling the ham out, reminds me of. Do you remember the Royal Family? And says, his girlfriend's a vegetarian. Could she have wafer thin ham, Barbara? Could she have wafer thin ham?
I'll tell you what I've had since on Sunday night. I had steak and chips. Last night I had steak and chips, and tonight I've had beef lasagna. That's what I've had for the last 3 nights.
See, this is the thing, isn't it? You're not supposed to have red meat more than a couple of times a week or something. And,
I've had it.
I'm thinking, genuinely thinking, well, would wafer thin ham count as, but that really, how many slices would you have to
What you have to ask yourself is, how many of your 5 a day is wafer thin ham? That's all you've got to worry about, Tony.
Wafer thin ham. Oh, I love ham. I do love ham. I might buy some ham tomorrow.
I thought you knew it for ham now, haven't you? There you go.
Yeah, do you know what? I do like the old deli counter ham.
Do you like all
nice
that?
Thick slices? Yeah. Do like a bit of.
I'm going to slip
I might go to Tesco after this.
I'm going to slip into a bit of a cliche here. I tell you what you want, like, Tony. Games at Easter being rescheduled. Oh, that was
mate, honestly. Now, I get the whole Sky money, the money side of things, but
I thought that was a very poor link,
It is a major inconvenience.
That is a massive
especially
nuisance
with the
for
Oxford
me.
game.
Yeah.
But the home games doesn't bother me, doesn't affect me in the
It bothers me because
that's completely changed things for the Oxford game, hasn't it? It's completely changed the dynamic of the crowd that we would have taken there.
It does. I was definitely going to go to that. I've said before we started recording, the Sheffield Wednesday game's a bit of a nuisance. I could do with it going to football at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, but it'll be a novelty, won't it? That because I've never done it before. But the whole fact is that I'll have to drive to that. It's Easter weekend. And you're thinking, I'd already made massive plans of what I was going to do, and when I came back tonight and seen that, tweet from the club, I just thought, oh, that's really annoying. And then you look at it and you think...
I think it's fair to say that there probably won't be a radio show either.
There won't be, no chance. I don't think it's fairer than fair to say, because I ain't doing that,
Yeah, we'll be on air at, 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone will be listening. Oh, hang on, let's tune into that. Well, not everyone, Tony. We know at least 4 blokes that won't be listening, but...
No, because, tumbleweed, etc.
Yeah.
It's an interesting question, actually, because we don't know who listens to the radio show.
We don't.
But what we do know is that there's enough people to keep the radio station happy.
Yes.
And keep us on there, as we have done for the last nearly 3 seasons, I suppose.
Yeah, isn't it? We were shut down a couple of times during lockdown, weren't we? But we've come back bigger and stronger, Tony. That's what I say.
So yeah, much the same as this very podcast, this award-deserving podcast, indeed.
I'm a bit.
We don't know who listens, but we are appreciative of everybody that listens.
Thanks for listening.
The figures don't lie. It's popular, and that's what keeps us going, really. Cause...
We don't have to listen, but if you don't listen, I'm going to find you. I'll tell you I will. I'll hunt you down if you stop listening.
We're going to email you
MP3
files.
Yeah. Of us talking bollocks about wafer thin ham. That's the content people come for, Tony. They came last week for the incredible...
exactly what it is. They came for the trousers
last week. Wafer thin ham this week.
Wafer thin ham, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, getting back to that. The Sheffield Wednesday thing is irritating, but I guess it frees up your Good Friday to do what, I don't know. But the Oxford thing is a real nuisance, because I thought we could go to that, me and my lad. It's a, bank holiday Monday, just something to kind of look forward to, but I can't go on Tuesday. I just point blank can't go. It just
completely changed it. Now I have to look at what shifts I'm on, and
I know all of that
if
business.
I want to have a day off, there's no way I could get to the game. No, I'd want to travel straight there after the game, and I haven't done a Tuesday night away game for a long time.
I can't remember when I last did a Tuesday away.
Because I'm getting old now, and I like to be in bed by sort of 9:30, 10.
Yeah, I can't think when I last did a Tuesday night away. I really genuinely can't think of that. That would have been years ago.
I probably would not be able to tell you the last Tuesday night away game I went to.
I used to go to loads. I remember we went to Birmingham once when we had them in some cup thing. And I remember we were coming out.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that was... I think we lost.
Oh, we did lose, yeah. What's his name? Alex McLeish was manager at the time, wasn't he, for Birmingham?
4-1, 2-1. I can't remember what it was now. But...
It was an alright day.
Yeah,
I remember coming out. Like, their ground's kind of... Yeah, their ground's on a hill, isn't it? And I remember as we're driving out, you could see the whole of Birmingham lit up, and I thought, that's quite cool for a Tuesday night. I mean, I went to, I thought, it's a stupid place on a Tuesday night. I've been to Shrewsbury on a Tuesday night, not in a
I've been to Shrewsbury on more than a few times on a Tuesday night.
Not a 5-minute drive, is it?
Deep Bodgett's 95th minute goal. That was a Tuesday night. I saw him the next day, and he said, I said, that was all right last night, wasn't it? He said, we didn't deserve that, did we? You got to admire his honesty. So, and that was a few years ago. Cause
I also went to, what's that place with the bloody church steeple that's all twisted?
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield, I went there on a Tuesday night, Absolutely, it must be mental. Absolutely.
I know, when you think about something, I've been to Carlisle on a Tuesday night.
I went to
not just once either.
What's that Welsh place that's the capital of Wales? Cardiff. I went there once on a Tuesday night for the second round of the League Cup. There was 101 of us who went. That was years ago.
Swansea, the JPT,
the Cup. I remember that.
Semi-final. I don't know if that must have been a Tuesday.
That was a Tuesday.
Yeah, when you think back, we are idiots. I mean,
no wonder I don't go any longer. Jesus Christ, absolutely worn myself out doing it.
But it's like you said about Ross.
Yeah.
I mean, when I did my season of every single game home and away, the following season it was a major relief, because I still carried on thinking, I can't break the cycle. And then we got Stevenage in the Paint Pot Trophy, I think it was. And I thought to myself, well, I've got to break this cycle. I've got to miss a game so I can at least then pick and choose. And as bad as I felt about not going, and I still feel guilty when I don't go to away games, but it does burn you out.
It burns you out.
As you get older, that becomes much more difficult. And then you start thinking about stuff like, when you're younger, you just go there, you have a few beers, you get back on the coach or the train or whatever it is, however you've got there, and you get home when you get home, and if you've got time, you might go out. Bizarrely, you might, oh look, we're in CMK. We just come out of the train station. We might as well go to Wetherspoons. It shuts at 1. But now you're thinking about, if I'm going to go, how am I going to get there? How do I dress appropriately? What time am I going to be home? Do I need to book?
What happens when you get older, innit? Your priorities change, unfortunately. These young lads, they've got my full admiration, but I can't do that now. I'm just worn out, with it all. I mean,
and it wasn't even that long ago, was it?
I think that first year we were in the new stadium, I think after it, we'd done it, I worked out that I'd spent over £1,000, following the team home and away. Really, for one season.
A
lot of money. That didn't sound like a lot of money.
Away games, it's £100 plus.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
A game.
You got to get there. You got your fuel. They're either in the coach or you're driving. It's just eating and drinking. It's a lot of money. I mean, that was what? When did we move into the new stadium? I can't remember. 2007 was it?
2007, yeah.
Yeah. So it was then. So I'd spent over £1,000, following the team home and away. And that's excluding my season ticket, obviously, which however much that was then, I don't know. So. Yeah,
I mean, home and away is not cheap, and even a home game, with I'm in the habit now of having a couple of pints and a pie, and you buy a round and you buy some food.
It's expensive.
You find that you're nearly £20 lighter.
I know, eh?
Each time you go to the bar, but I haven't got the energy for it. But all power to those that do it. But it is a very short. I mean, we've spoken about it over the years about the turnover of fans and the faces that you see at away games. Some of us now admittedly tend to only go to the games that are a bit closer or that might be a bit bigger. Yeah. We might take a bigger crowd, but for me, Tuesday night away to Shrewsbury does not appeal to me anymore.
Doing that, no chance. Not after a day's work.
And also because that Sheffield Wednesday game has been moved, you can't now watch it on iFollow for those that can't make the. So there will be people who either A, could have watched it on iFollow if they couldn't go on the day it was supposed to be scheduled,
but no can't.
Or B, those that can't go because it's been moved, and also can't watch it either. Don't have either
on Sky, can't they? Get Sky out. Don't be so bloody tight. But I'd say.
Yeah, I suppose you can get Sky for a day or a week or something.
You can get it on that Now TV thing, can't you? Where you can spend a tenner for a game or something like that. Or I think you get the whole weekend or something like that. Don't work out too bad actually. And I suppose, looking on the bright side, the Oxford game will probably be on iFollow, won't it? You would have thought if it's a Tuesday night, so at least you can watch it.
Yeah, I suppose there is that, but you could have watched that on iFollow, I think, anyway.
Just a bit
because it's
to
not
go,
a Saturday
it?
at 3 o'clock.
A shame, really, but it's moved. And think of the cash, Tony. It was much
there is
cash.
that. I mean, it is worth. Andy Cullen always used to say, like the Johnston's paint games when it moved to a league format, it wasn't a huge amount of money, but it outweighed the negatives in terms of staffing costs. The small crowd, because you would get, I think it was £10,000 for each round of games. So
take that.
Yeah. I mean, £10,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you're only selling 1,800 tickets, and bearing in mind that we always seem to get the biggest crowds for those games.
Yeah, 600 home fans, don't we? And however many
historically. So it was a nice little boost cash-wise. So I suppose the Sky money. I don't think you're allowed to turn Sky down, are you? Either.
I was reading tonight. Quite a lot of people seem somewhat put out that apparently they were supposed to give 5 weeks' notice or something for doing stuff like that, or whatever it is. Quite a lot of people are saying that the notice period has been ignored. But I mean, Sky or Sky.
There's probably a clause that says if the two clubs agree.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And I'm sure that.
Who gets the bigger cut?
Sky money is not to be sniffed at. And
do we get the bigger cut out of that because we're the home team, or is it 50-50 TV money or whatever?
I genuinely don't know, but whether it is enough to justify moving what would have been a good afternoon of Good Friday football to a Saturday evening at 7:45.
I do like my Easter weekend football. I always have done, always since I started going back to football.
I would imagine that. I mean, we're moaning about it, but for the Sheffield
I
Wednesday
know.
fans,
They're going to come down on a Saturday night, haven't they?
Yeah, and
didn't think of him.
if you take out the Sheffield Wednesday fans that now won't be able to make it for various reasons, again,
That's
I'm sure
more
the
money
money
lost,
outweighs what we're going to lose in away sales. But it would have been a bumper crowd in the away end. The walk up for an afternoon.
That's going to be non-existent now, isn't it? That a Saturday night.
Yeah.
There'll be no walk-ups on a Saturday night. Would there none? I'd be surprised if there was any at all.
I can imagine there'll be a few lads who've been in the pub all day thinking, "Here's a good idea. Why don't we go to the football now?"
And be real
so
pains in the arse.
looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Shall we have a quick look at the remaining fixtures then?
Yes, let's do that.
We keep doing it, and it doesn't get any easier. As we know, Crew has been postponed.
Yes, that's a thing. We might as well say it now. We're having a break next week, so there'll be no podcast next week. However, there may be a little extra podcast towards the end of the week.
Bonusy head coachy interviewee
sort
type
of
podcast.
Member of staff. We can't promise it, but let's just... Well, people were sending me messages today saying, "Oh, congratulations." You think, fucking, who told you what was happening?
I wouldn't think to tell anyone anyway, because I wouldn't have anybody to tell. To be honest,
It wasn't me.
I did think about starting a thread on the old concrete roundabout asking for questions, but the MK1 lads have done that in preparation for theirs anyway. So
Theirs will be better than us. They've won awards.
Yeah, I'll leave the MK1 lads to the fan questions. I've got a fair few myself anyway that I've made a list.
I read your list. It's pretty comprehensive, to be quite honest.
Well, I did show it to the press boys, and they liked it because I try and think of someone in that position. You're going to get the same questions over and over again, and I'm not. The interviews that I do aren't really to please the masses as such, or ask those burning questions. It's just a general interest sort of chat for me and things that I'd like to know. But it should be interesting. So that's scheduled tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.
So I'm currently working on a way to work out how to record that. But I think we've cracked it.
Well, it's just going to be.
I think we've cracked it. But
what else? It's just going to be Tony telling us what people were saying.
Yeah. So. I will be. JT unfortunately can't make it due to his new job.
It's a bit annoying, really.
I'll be on my own, and hopefully I can.
I would have liked to have done that, but I've got a new job, and I can't say, "Can I have it off so I can interview a football manager?" No, they would say, "I tell you what, no, you can't."
So it's highly unlikely that you'll be listening to this podcast before 4 p.m. tomorrow.
No.
You never know. Depends what JT's doing tonight and tomorrow, but I got a feeling it won't be.
It won't be out.
So I won't ask you for your questions.
No,
but
wasting your time. Ask them.
I would suggest if you do have questions, check Facebook and Twitter, because I know the MK1 lads are also doing an interview with Liam Manning, and they were asking for questions on Twitter. So hunt them down and pose your question to them. So I think there's a few. I mean, he did the Guardian piece, which
that was good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good, and again, that was, and it's nice to know that he also has the fear of success as well. I was quite happy to read that he doesn't, similarly to me, doesn't seem to deal particularly well with with being successful, and doesn't quite know how to deal with it. So I was happy to hear that. But looking forward to it. This is our first one with the new boy. He's not a new boy now, is he? Really, it's nearly a whole season. So
we did do one with Russell Martin, which I thought was all right, but subsequently I've changed my opinion. So
I've not met him before. I've met him in passing in the bar after the game at home games. But he's usually on the phone, and it's just a sort of a greeting of a raised eyebrow. Is as far as that relationship.
I know when glance was exchanged, Tony. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
He's probably thinking
an exchange of eyebrow rails.
He's probably thinking, well, that's that guy off that podcast that deserves all the awards that it never gets. That's what he was probably thinking.
Yeah, and then he thought, and that radio show as well.
He sounds like that guy off the wireless as well, doesn't he? I would say, but no one listens to that, so I think probably not that.
I would imagine he has it on in the change room after the game.
Inspiration, I would do it. Right, what fixtures have we got then? We're getting back to that.
Right, so Crew is off, as we know, yet to be rearranged. I would imagine, looking at the available dates, that will either be after Shrewsbury at home, which is the 2nd of April.
Yeah.
Tuesday before AFC away, possibly.
Oof,
but it could also be, but unlikely to be, well, mind you, with the Sheffield Wednesday game, it could be the Tuesday after AFC. So, as that's now on the Saturday, but that probably won't happen because Crew will still be playing on the Friday. But so anyway, the remaining fixtures minus Crew as yet not rearranged. Home to Shrewsbury, 2nd of April. You'd be hoping we could get something out of that, but they just beat Rotherham 3-0. Saturday, the 9th of April, which you are convinced will be moved to the Friday.
Yeah, there's some kind of palaver at the minute with the tickets. I read that yesterday as well.
Yeah, but what's the palaver?
It's obviously the Met, isn't it? We said it on. Go and watch that bloody thing that we did at the weekend with the SAL.
Well, the thing is, as far as I know, unless I've missed it or wasn't aware of it, the meeting hasn't yet taken place about the arrangements for that. But I don't. Well, me personally, I don't think it will be moved.
Really? But you still think it'll be a bubble game? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. No.
Let's just assume that it's still on in the Saturday afternoon. So we've got them on
Saturday the 9th of April, AFC away. Friday the 15th of April, as was. Now Saturday the 16th of April, home to Sheffield Wednesday, 7:45pm kickoff. Don't forget, people. Bank holiday Monday, as was, is now Tuesday the 19th of April, Oxford away, 7:45 again. So you got those evening kickoffs, they can affect the way a team plays as well. And Carl would have had to agree to this.
I would guess so,
or Oxford, but Carl would have had to agree to this. And that decision must have been made fairly quickly within the last few days at the very most. So Carl wouldn't have agreed to that unless he was pressurised into it because really he had no other option. But I'm sure he will be happier that it's at their place rather than ours.
At home, aren't you? So.
It's still at home. So Oxford, 19th of April, Tuesday now, 7:45 kickoff. Saturday the 23rd of April, home to Morecambe, the last home game.
Oh, that's that's one game. Oh, God.
It's the season's done, mate. That's it.
Shouldn't be.
Other than Crew to be rearranged, we've got home games. We've got Shrewsbury, Sheffield Wednesday, and Morecambe, plus the rearranged Crew, and that's it. 4 games. That's it. The season's done. It's all over.
Jesus.
And then Saturday the 30th of April, 12:30 kickoff, by the way, which means that I'm going to have to leave. I'm told about possibly as early as 6 a.m.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
To get to that.
Is that
one.
bank holiday weekend as well? No.
Is possibly the Monday, the bank holiday Monday?
Normally May,
week?
Isn't it? Early May.
Yeah, so there's your game. So Shrewsbury at home, we would hope to get a win there. AFC away, we would hope to get a win there. Sheffield Wednesday at home, who knows?
Difficult to see.
Oxford at Oxford.
Another one, that's the one I'm worried about more than any.
That could end up 7-all or 0-0. Morecambe at home, again, we would hope that.
Get something out
so,
of that,
from that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus Crew.
Plus Crew,
What are we thinking there? Shrewsbury, I'm going to say 3 points. AFC, I'm going to say 3 points. Yeah. I'm going to take the 3-pointers. So Shrewsbury, AFC, Morecambe and Crew would hope that we could achieve 12 points from that. And then anything else we can get from Plymouth, Oxford and Sheffield Wednesday. So that's where we are, my man. That's where we are.
It sounded too bad, that really.
I was absolutely buzzing on after the game on Saturday, by the way.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, normally being my standard pragmatic, not necessarily pessimistic, but I was absolutely buzzing for that win because those are the sort of games that when you win those, you're thinking, maybe, just maybe. But at the same time, I still, and I said it on Saturday, I'm going to say it again now, I don't think Rotherham would make too many more slip-ups to be able to completely throw it away.
I don't think they're going
and possibly the best that we can hope for is that Rotherham bollocks it completely, because I don't think we're going to go into now at this stage the form that they're in. So I think the best we can hope for is, and then we think we've got Plymouth up our arses, we've got Oxford up our arses. So any slip-ups from us,
fourth,
you would hope we won't slip out of the playoffs. But
we're not going to slip out of the playoffs, are we? I wouldn't have thought. Be amazed.
And then we got to start thinking about Thursday nights in what again could be Plymouth or
Plymouth are 2-0 up now against Cheltenham as we speak, which is at 8:41 on the Tuesday night. You'll listen to this. Plymouth are now 2-0 up against Cheltenham.
2-0 up. So that's them. Looking at the live table.
I'm looking at it now.
Actually, that table, yes, that is the live table as I speak. I'm looking at the BBC. They would be 2 points behind us with the same amount of games played, and currently their goal difference is one better than ours. In fact, they're very, very similar to us stats-wise. We've scored 64, they've scored 66. We've let in 38, they've let in 39, 26 and 27 on the goal difference, 74 and 76. So unless something miraculous happens, I can't see Plymouth throwing that away tonight.
I'm tired now.
So for us to drop out of the playoffs would be a major achievement to throw that away at the moment, because the Sheffield Wednesday are on 66, 10 points behind us. But again, you never know. You never know.
We ain't going to throw that away. Minimum will be playoffs.
But you would hope not. So I think the playoffs are taking shape now, and I think it's fair to say that us and Plymouth are pretty much dead certs for the playoffs. Oxford and Sunderland, but Sheffield Wednesday, if they get a result against us.
I'd be worried about Sunderland. So I'd be worried if I was Sunderland. They're all over the place, aren't they, Sunderland? You couldn't.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday are a point behind Sunderland with the game in hand. They could well nick that last place. Wycombe also only a point behind Sunderland, same amount of games, and then plucky little Ipswich on played 39. They're on 61, so they're 6 points behind Sunderland in the last playoff place. But between them, they've also got Sheffield Wednesday and Wycombe. And I'd say of those, the one that they're most likely to overtake is Wycombe, if they are going to.
Yeah, Wycombe have fallen away, haven't they? Right, I think
Portsmouth
I'm done.
are out of it, aren't they now? That's it, they're done. So Bolton.
Right, I'm done for tonight. I'm knackered.
Yeah, so is it worth even... Well, as we're not doing one next week, I suppose we should do predictions, shouldn't we?
What have we got next week? No one. I reckon it'll be a no-score draw next week.
Well, the next game is...
Shrewsbury.
It's Shrewsbury at home, Saturday the 2nd. And if we're not recording a show next week, we should do a prediction for that.
I'm going to go 3-0 for that. I feel that good.
I think I'm going to go... We haven't given anybody a kicking.
Not for a while, no.
We may well not. I mean, maybe we save it to the following week at AFC, but I'm going to go 4-0. Why can't we do it both, Shrewsbury and AFC, 4-0?
They're in the relegation zone finally, aren't they? I think, at last.
Yeah. I mean, this is that blows my mind that a team can go without winning a game for 20 games without winning a game, yet only just now barely slip into the relegation places.
Well, good luck to them.
I mean, it just tells you how bad the rest of that bottom four is, I suppose. But,
when you think about it, because they are just terrible, aren't they?
I mean, it could be worse. You could be Peterborough, who are behind a team who had 21-point deduction. So,
I'm not really the captain. I tell you what's amazed me about the Championship is Luton are third in the Championship.
Oh, fair play to them.
I mean, a lot of people, I ain't interested in them one way or the other. I've had issues with Luton fans at work years ago, but I mean, yeah, just you get wankers wherever you go, don't you? But to be third in the Premiership, and then there was all pictures of their, of their ground all over Twitter this week, weren't they? Saying, "Look at this. This could be a Premiership ground next year."
Well, when you've seen the likes of Bournemouth, I mean, Brentford went with a new stadium, but I mean, I can't remember in the modern day, or in the modern era, I suppose. Barnsley, perhaps you could say, but yeah, could you? I mean, that ground in the Premiership, but fair play to them. Whatever happens, they've had a fantastic season, and you can't knock that. You can't knock that for a club like Luton to be third in the Championship.
It's quite astonishing, really.
With a sniff of the Premiership and possible or probable playoff place. But again, anything can happen. We shall see. But well done, Luton. I'm not going to say that very often.
Yeah, I'm not saying it even now. Quite honestly. I'll see if we have good luck, good fair play to them, but I'm not wishing them good luck.
No, well, yeah, I suppose not. So, yeah, there you go. That's
us.
What is very much the arse end of the season. Yep. As Mr. Ferguson said, squeaky bum time.
Squeaky bum time for everyone.
Except for our players, who don't seem to be fair in the slightest.
Right, let's finish, because I am quite tired after working for the last couple of days that were harder than I thought I was going to be quite honest, but here we go. Right, so... Yes, listen out for this one. By the time you've heard this, hopefully the manager
interview with Liam Manning will also be available very shortly after that.
Whatever happens, there is no podcast next week, because we deserve a week off, because we're knackered doing it.
And add to the fact that we actually haven't had anything to talk about anyway, so
we could always
it's
talk
a good time to have a bonus podcast.
We could always talk about trousers and ham again if you want to hear. That's quite popular with the
ham trousers.
Ham trousers, Tony. Now there's a niche
ham
podcast.
Trousers. Don't put them in the washing machine. Eat them after you've after you've worn them. Put them in a sarnie.
Ham trousers. Oh, that's good. I like that. I'm going to make a pair. That's what I'm going to go and do now. I'm going to go in the fridge, see if there's any wafer thin ham, and I'm going to knock myself off a pair of trousers.
That'd be a fair amount, particularly for me.
It would have to be some fair amount. You'd have to spend some money,
wouldn't you? That's a big old sandwich, that is.
Oh, it's a massive sandwich. Right, we're done now. I'm hungry now. If I wasn't before, I
think I'm definitely going to Tesco now, I reckon.
Alright, he's going to Tesco. I'm going to have, I don't know, I think I might go to bed. I'm knackered. Right, I won't see you next week, but hopefully you'll hear Tony talking to Liam Manning sometime before we get our next one out. Right, I'm done. See everyone. Bye.
Bye.